folks, welcome back to Game Geeks. I'm your host, Kurt Wiegel. Today's product, Realms of Cthulhu, a Savage Worlds sourcebook. This is, to be quite honest with you, a conversion of the Call of Cthulhu mythos to a Savage Worlds system. In the back, I'll get it over with right away, since the main Cthulhu game has always been Call of Cthulhu by Chaosium, there is a conversion of your Call of Cthulhu characters to Savage Worlds. I've done this. I've actually done it. I have took some Call of Cthulhu characters from one of my games I played once, converted it. It actually works quite nicely. So the conversion is built into this product. Beyond that, what can you do with this game? What this does is it really provides you with a complete framework to do Lovecraftian type investigations using the Savage Worlds system. One of my favorite parts of this is the fact that it really gives you two axes on which to base your adventures. Before we get into those axes, we have to talk about the sanity mechanic, because when we talk about Lovecraft and we talk about the Cthulhu mythos, we have to end up sitting in the corner, soiling ourselves and gibbering about strange vistas and unearthly monsters. It's just what we expect. The sanity mechanic really operates very nicely based similarly to the wound mechanic of Savage Worlds. That is, you take one of your attributes. In the case of wounds, it's vigor. In the case of sanity, it is spirit. Divide the die type by 2 and add 2. That is the target number to beat for some other critters. I'm going to devour your sanity roll. If you make the roll, or if they don't beat essentially your sanity toughness score, then congratulations, you're not crazy. If they do, and depends on how much they beat it by, that sort of determines how nuts you go. Now, the actual going crazy in the mythos way is measured by a corruption mechanic that sort of determines how far down the cuckoo spiral you really are. So the way to use those two axes in combining them is something like this. You've got heroic horror, which is pulpy. That is, you can take damage, you can take damage and you don't go nuts easy. Then there's slippery slope, which is sort of a pulpy physically, gritty sanity. Dangerous action, gritty pulpy, and then finally dark spiral, which is you're just screwed either way. It also then gives you some really interesting campaign frameworks to use this in. For example, you could do a really Indiana Jones style 1920s, which is in the heroic horror pulpy genre, or you could do something like a Delta Green or Paranormal Investigations, which is physically not that damaging, but you go crazy easy. It gives you some real options there. It gives really good ways to use spells. It gives a brand new spell mechanic, which makes sense for the Cthulhu genre. It's its own genre now. I like that. It also goes then into a really well done Beastiary that has almost everything you can imagine, and a really good set of tables to make your own Cthulhu critter. Like, oh, I want to make something a little different tonight, so I'll roll a few dice and here's my monster. And before those of you out there going, heresy! Folks, Lovecraft was very open with his properties. He wanted you to add to it. He was probably the least copyright concerned person in the world. Gives you some adventures to play in, one sort of long one, and some nice little vignettes to play. And as I mentioned, a good conversion in the back. Folks, I really like this game. Do you need it? That's what my wife asked me when I came home with it, and then she pointed very nicely to my very long shelf of Cthulhu supplements, and I went, of course I need it. I wanted it. Where? It's mine. If you really like the Chaosium system and you see no need to upconvert to another Cthulhu engine, to be frank with you, there's not much in this product for you. It's a very pretty, full color book, but if you like your Cthulhu the way it is, you don't need this. But if you like Savage Worlds, and as so many of you have noted recently, I really seem to, if you like Savage Worlds and you want to have a good way to introduce Cthulhu-level horror into a Savage Worlds product, this is totally the game for you. You can mix and match pieces of this into something else. I could very easily see Cthulhu in space, using some of the space rules in this. Cthulhu Supers I'm not as sold on, but if you really want to, there it is. This is one of my new favorite games I have, and I'm going to do a Savage Worlds Cthulhu game with it, mainly because I want to. I want to see if it works as well as I think it does. We did a couple short ones, but I want to see how the campaigns work. And honestly, it just is a gorgeous book. For Game Geeks, I'm your host, Kurt Wiegel. Good day and good gaming.